Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's J-Man. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm J-Man.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
You know of Cartoon Network, do you not?
Yeah.
What about the Adult Swim programming block?
I see little bits of videos on YouTube or on Facebook video.
But you're aware of it.
I'm aware of it, and it's fucking hilarious. A lot of it is.
Do you know how long it's been around?
God, it's had to be above 10 years by now, I think.
It's actually almost 20.
Okay, yeah, I figured it was probably between 10 and 15.
There are some people, believe it or not, that have no idea that Adult Swim exists.
What?
Yeah, I can believe that.
This episode is about one of those people.
Oh, really?
She's a Karen.
Please explain for the class what a Karen is.
A Karen is a person who decides that whatever they don't like, nobody else should think or do or say or partake in, and they feel they need to scold everybody and basically present themselves as the moral authority over everyone.
Okay, my definition was an older person, usually a woman, who's just a bitch. Not happy and makes everybody else miserable around them.
Yeah. Okay, mine was a little more
Yours is
wordy.
probably a little more wordy, but, I mean, mine's straight to the point.
Anyways, so now that everything's shut down and all these suburban moms have less shit to do, they have more time to get pissed off at stuff.
That has popped up since COVID hit.
It has. So there's a woman in Oklahoma who, I don't know, she was not sleeping and found out that her child was watching the Adult Swim programming block.
I love the way this article is written.
It says an Oklahoma mom was probably having trouble sleeping after too many White Claws and Zoom chuckles with all the PTO crew and casually flipped through late night cable. What Karen found absolutely shocked her to the core. First, to get a great idea of what we're dealing with on a personal level, the profile for @SoonerGirl74, spelled @SOONERGURL74, reads, wife, mom, follower of Christ, Christmas, storm chasing, college football, boomer sooner, XFL, speak life and love.
What's boomer sooner?
It's football shit for the Oklahoma Sooners football team because there's nothing to do in Oklahoma but fucking get mad about stupid shit.
There's cow tipping.
It's
Lots of cows.
And then praise Jesus and Sooner football. Anyways, so she has no idea that Adult Swim exists, and she sees this short that a guy made of these three, like, druid-looking guys. And they each have a baby in each hand, like a CGI baby. Mm-hmm. They're pounding them on anvils to make music. And every time they hit the fucking anvil, the baby coos with delight. And she saw this and thought it was just, you know, the worst fucking thing ever. And she put, Cartoon Network after hours. They throw it in your face. They hope you aren't the kind of parent who monitors what your kids watch and do. They're busy conditioning them. What do you see here? I see witches abusing babies. This is not okay. This is not funny. So after her original tweet hit over 5,000 comments, she proclaimed victory, and that, quote, the darkness was exposed. Never realized that the post from Adult Swim / Cartoon Network was going to take off. After reading some comments, it's clear I hit a nerve. When darkness is exposed, the demons start panicking. Try to minimize you and your message. They can't stop what's coming. I don't know if she means the second coming of Christ or what the fuck, but...
Now, did she read the comments?
She must. She's like, trying to follow everyone back that has recently followed me after the Cartoon Network tweet. I'm getting to you, but Twatter is limiting me right now. Ha 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 ha. Please be patient, patriots. I will follow back as soon as I'm able to. And thank you to everyone who has commented, retweeted, and just liked.
You are not a patriot, woman. You are not. You are just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so
Peter.
I felt the need to tweet at this woman because I'm an instigator. It's fun for me to fuck with these people. She's probably never going to reply, and she still hasn't. It's been days. And I just tweeted at her, @SoonerGirl74, Jesus loves Adult Swim. It's simple. It attacks what she believes in. If she gets to it, she'll have a meltdown. So basically...
I almost want to record it.
Well, here's the thing. Twitter piled on this woman, and she deserved it, because the entire point of Adult Swim is to air cartoons aimed at an older audience.
Yeah, my kids don't watch it.
Something that should seem obvious, considering it's called Adult Swim, named after a time when kids are forced to get out of the pool so adults can have fun. Remember Adult Swim up at the lake? They had that.
They still have it.
5 to 6 every night, right?
Not every night. Sometimes it's later. I think they just kind of pick a time.
Well, somebody points out a couple problems with this, Sooner Girl. One, it's from Adult Swim, not Cartoon Network, so it's for the older audience, or at least a mature one. Two, it's an animated short they do for fun. It's not meant to be taken so seriously. You're overreacting. Other people pointed out that they have a warning at the beginning of the Adult Swim programming block, and at every commercial break, they let you know it's for a mature audience. So people are like, hey, do some fucking parenting. Don't just tell us that Adult Swim has to go away because you're such a bitch.
One person has to do it for everybody else. Kill that person.
Well, it's funny you say that. Karens, when they discover Adult Swim. Now, it's Marge Simpson looking concerned, standing next to their TV, and there's an image of what was in the video, right? And she goes, call me a killjoy, but I think that because this is not to my taste, no one else should be able to enjoy it.
Yep, that sounds like a Karen to me.
And, yeah, people are just finding out that Adult Swim exists when their kids are watching it at 2 a.m. If the kid's up that late, that's on you, not the network.
Oh, bitch, you got jacked, bitch.
My kids are usually in bed by 11 because I tell them to go to bed.
It's funny. Conservatives want to hold Adult Swim accountable when it's been around for my entire adult life and you have to pay for it, but won't hold their president accountable for making fun of the disabled, admitting to sexual assault, or encouraging racially motivated violence.
You can't sit there and say that Karen's a conservative just because she believes in God.
And somebody says, ironically, Adult Swim's always been for the kids. Now, you don't know who that is. That's Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown. He does cocaine.
Okay.
That's from the show Metalocalypse. You would enjoy it. So I'm going to read that in Dr. Roxo's voice. He's a rock and roll clown. He does cocaine. He's basically David Lee Roth in a fucking clown mask and wig. So this says, let's go get some hookers and ice cream. Because he tends to stutter letters on purpose. Mm-hmm. So he'd be like, let's go get some hookers and ice cream. Yeah, baby. Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown. I do cocaine. He whispers. It's fucking hilarious. You need to watch Metalocalypse. Because without Adult Swim, I never would have gotten Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I never would have gotten fucking Venture Brothers, one of my favorite shows of all time. Rick and Morty. It's a place where people go to watch reruns and newer episodes a week later of Family Guy, American Dad, The Cleveland Show, things of that nature. There's all kinds of great shows on there. Black Jesus.
I love all the like animation, the like G.I. Joe animation type stuff that they do with Harry
Robot
Potter.
Chicken.
Robot Chicken, yeah. I love that stuff.
Without Adult Swim, we wouldn't fucking have that because it was a niche programming block for those types of shows. And they've done an excellent job of giving people an alternative to the lamestream fucking cookie cutter bullshit on late night like the talk shows nobody really watches. And what numbers are fucking Rick and Morty pulling? Insane fucking numbers.
Which I don't really understand because I've seen a couple of clips of their shows and I don't really find them that funny.
You have to watch it. The whole thing. You
I
have
suppose.
to expose yourself to all of it. I didn't just hate Scrubs by sheer virtue. I watched a number of episodes trying to figure out what all the hype was about and went, this is not for me. Zach Braff is an asshat. It's not funny. The only reason to watch Scrubs is for Sarah Chalke, who's fucking delicious.
She was in a movie recently with David Spade called The Other Missy, and she's aged.
I'm not going to watch it, but I just want you to know that ever since she was on Roseanne, when she was Becky number 2.
Was she really?
Yeah. Originally it was Lacey Goranson, and then she went to college, so they brought in Sarah Chalke to take over the role, and then when Lacey was back, she took it back over. It was like a whole thing. Becky number 2.
Oh, okay.
I like either one of them, but fucking A, Becky number 2 does more for me in the sexual excitation.
I like the fact that in almost every other episode of that show, she was in underwear or a bathing suit. Usually underwear.
Of Scrubs?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe not every other episode, but enough. Yummy.
So here's my question to you. If you saw your kids watching something that you didn't want them to see, do you A, shut that shit down and tell them they can't watch it, B, go to Twitter and complain about how the evil is overtaking our children, C, not give a fuck at all, or D, A and C? I'm kind of loading the question here.
I just shut that shit down.
So nobody else
So maybe
should
A,
watch
would that
what
be
your
A
kids
to
were
C?
watching, you think? Should it be
No,
taken
what
off
was
of the
A
network?
was shut that shit down and not let them watch it.
B was lose your shit on Twitter
Yeah.
so that it gets taken away.
No, I'm not going to lose my shit on Twitter.
C is do nothing.
It's kind of between A and C. Mostly A because it's like, no, don't watch that, all right? It's bad language. You don't need to watch it. You know? So, no, you don't need to see it.
The responsible thing to do as a parent is to parent and say, I don't want you to watch that, and here's why. Because I was at a get-together at my sister-in-law's once, and another woman that's married into the family was there, and a bunch of the girls were there, so I went without my wife so the kids could see their cousins and play. And it was a lot of little girls between the ages of like 5 and fucking 14. So two of the kids were talking about Chucky, the doll from Child's Play. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie, the Juice was one of them. They were talking about it, and somebody got scared, and that girl that got scared came upstairs and tattled, and the mom lost her fucking mind and made all the girls come upstairs and scolded them and said, you guys are talking about Chucky, and that's not appropriate. You don't talk about that. Okay? Stop talking about it right now.
Well, what in context were they talking about Chucky?
I don't know. I think they were trying to play a game like shut out the lights and pretend Chucky's coming to get us.
See, what's wrong with that?
I don't know. But the point is that this woman lost her shit, scolded all of the kids, and never at any point explained why they shouldn't talk about it. She didn't really hammer in on, look, that is more for adults than kids. There's murder involved in it. It glorifies violence, and you're scaring the younger girls. Please don't talk about that around them because it's upsetting them.
See, that's responsible. When did Chucky come out? 89? 90?
Oh, fuck. Child's Play itself, the original?
Yeah, because I remember watching that almost as soon as it came out.
1986, I'm going to say. Child's Play.
Oh, I don't think it was 86.
88.
88, okay.
In this instance, Sooner Girl 74 could have just told her kids, you don't need to watch that. And I hate to just stereotype people, but I have found that if you're white and religious and have a vagina, you seem to be a bit more uppity than most. You're not happy just praising your Jesus. You have to go out there and fucking demonize all this shit and say that it's satanic or wrong or sinful to engage in it, and then preach to others that they shouldn't do it or they're wrong or evil or sinful. Like, fucking shut up and mind your own tits, bitch. Handle your shit at home. I have to say this to my kids all the time. Well, she's doing this. I'm like, hey, you worry about you, she'll worry about her, and I will sit here and watch the both of you.
That's why I keep telling my kids, you don't need to tattle on the other kid. If they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing, they'll get caught and they'll get dealt with. It's not up to you to be a parent.
Well, they even had a poster in kindergarten for Chi-Chi. She's 5, and this poster says, are you tattling? 1, are you reporting something because you're afraid someone's going to get hurt? Or 2, are you reporting just to get someone in trouble?
Good question.
So this fucking adult, who I gotta assume that the 74 means she was either born in 74 or she's, much like the movie title, born on the 4th of July. But I'm gonna assume that born in 74 is a safe bet. Because looking at her fucking
74.
Twitter picture, she looks like she's in her 40s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I just think that you need to learn to let this shit go. This is everything that's going on right now. People are nervous. They don't have control. They're trying to figure everything out. And they also feel entitled. Now, you could say that I'm kind of a Karen because I, on multiple occasions, have reported my neighbors for having loud, drunken parties late at night on a weekend when I needed to work the next morning.
Well, at a certain time, 10 p.m., even on weekends, there is a noise ordinance in most cities. And if people are being loud and disruptive, they're not supposed to be. So if you're calling the police on them, you're not really doing anything wrong. You're not being a Karen. You're just, hey, we're trying to sleep. You guys are kind of getting loud. It's past 10 o'clock. It's like my dipshit neighbors across the circle from me that thought it was funny for a week after 4th of July or whatever to be launching fireworks at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Our dog already hates fireworks.
Right.
I just want to fucking go over there and shove a bottle rocket up his ass and light it.
Well, that's
You know,
kind of Karen-y because
they're-
you're worried about your dog.
No,
Now,
it's just
with me, though,
I'm trying to sleep 'cause I got to be up at 5:30 in the fucking morning.
there you go. You got to hit it right there. How is it affecting you in an adverse way that you can articulate? Now, with my neighbors, on a number of instances, I went over there and I asked them to quiet down. You know, one time I knocked on the window because where they drink and party is on their deck or in their basement bedroom, which is on the outside wall, 10 feet from my outside wall of my bedroom. So I can hear that shit even with earplugs in. That's fucking ridiculous. And I've gone over and knocked on the door and said, can you please keep it down? I've gone over there and knocked on the window and said, I know you guys are having a good time. I'm not telling you not to drink and whoop it up in your own house. But could you please, for the sake of me who has to work in the morning at 7 a.m., can you just shut the goddamn window, please? And they did. Other times I've gone out there and fucking complained and used not nice language, which usually gets me, nothing but guff back. But she's like, it's a Saturday. I'm like, not everybody works Monday through Friday, genius. And then, then inevitably she came back at me and said, I just think you need to get laid more. I'm like, whatever, bitch. She's like, yeah, go home, fag. And I'm like, wow.
Boy, that escalated.
What the fuck? How do we go from I need to get laid to suddenly I'm now a homosexual?
Say what?
Desperation is a stinky cologne.
Well, now here's the litmus test for my Karening. So you remember that story about the Hmong family that was behind me with the birthday party?
Yeah.
When we went into a shelter in place the weekend after it started, so we're talking like early April, they fucking had a birthday party.
I remember that, yeah.
And I looked out my window at the commotion. I'm like, what the fuck is going on back there? And I counted 20-some people in their fucking backyard. Many of them were children. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought we were supposed to be social distancing. And why the fuck am I suffering and staying home if these assholes are having a birthday party? I did call it in, and the operator's like, so they're not social distancing? I'm like, yeah, I guess I hate to be that guy, but we're all supposed to be doing our part, right? Like, why the fuck am I stuck at home? And the restaurants are closed and all this shit, and these people are like, let's have a birthday party with people in the dozens. And I think I was kind of being a Karen.
I think you were, yeah. 'Cause I remember when you told me the story, I was just like, yeah, just fucking let them do what they want. Who cares?
Well, I just thought of all the children that could be exposed, and there were older adults there.
Well, and
I'm
that was earlier on where you were kind of still under the this could be bad, wasn't it?
I was just turning the corner on this is bullshit, that maybe we should take this more seriously.
See, this is bullshit. And I flatlined it the whole way through.
Yeah. Well, much like that, we've all been known to get a little sassy and feel entitled to calling the authorities and such and trying to get other people in trouble. But in this instance, this woman seriously just needs to tend to her own house and stop trying to take down other people's joy. Leave
Killjoy?
Adult Swim alone.
Was that dude that was about Britney?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you for getting that reference. I'm shocked you actually knew that one. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It? Podcast show for the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm J-Man.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.